Hold
That's
on a
because of the
second.
Christian Minecraft server.
Oh, we're streaming now. I mean, it's not
Exactly.
going to play though. There it is. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Lorecast. We are discussing the movie Parasite today. I hope you all have watched it because otherwise you're going to get spoilers for one of the greatest movies of all time, in my humble opinion. So today we're going to be talking about Parasite. I would like to talk about maybe like some of the awards that this movie has won. Oh, by the way, I'm joined by Andy, Noah, and Benny. I always do that. Why did I not remember to introduce them? Say
Because you
hi.
hate us.
Shake my head, Nick.
Do not. SMH.
SMH.
Some
SMH,
host
Nick.
you are.
So we would like to talk about Parasite, the movie. It won Best Picture, I believe, from the Oscars and a couple of others. What did you think about it? Who wants to go first? I will go first. I think my
Crickets.
Cringe.
I think my favorite thing about it and my least favorite thing about it at the exact same time is just how on edge I was the entire movie. How extremely it was nerve-wracking the entire movie. Especially the second half, like right at the halfway mark, that's when shit gets real, and then that's when it all goes downhill and everything is like nerving, and you're sitting there like, what's going to happen next?
Yeah, like it pulled me in. Like the first half of the movie,
Yeah.
I was just very intrigued and very like invested in. Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen next? And then, I believe like this, the beginning of the second act, I was like, well, I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. Like, stop this podcast and go watch it because we're gonna obviously spoil the hell out of it. But when you learn about the people, the guy that was living under the house, I believe that's the beginning of the second act.
That's like right at the
From that
middle.
point on, yeah, from that point on, I was on edge the whole time. I was just like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
holy
they set it up like this, and this it made me feel really. They're the writer. I will remember his name. I'll look it up. I promise in a second. But whoever wrote it made it to where you feel really bad for one of the characters because you have this. We should start talking about like who the characters are, but there's the main family, the rich family, and then there's the poor family. The poor family, the main characters, and they start weeding their way through and kicking out some of the old staff, and it makes you feel really bad for the first maid, the first house lady. I felt
Right.
so bad for her. I was like,
Yeah,
dang, they
yeah.
kicked her out, and she's just this lady who's like out on the streets now. And then that's
Yeah.
when they hit you with the plot and the twist, and you're like, oh. But yeah, that was the big catch for me. Was I was like, whoa, what's going on?
yeah. One thing that I think is really interesting about how the movie portrayed the poor family, and so I don't think, if I remember correctly, we never get a reason as to why they're poor. They just
They
are.
just are.
But in a lot of movies, like you're supposed to feel sorry for the poor people. So a lot of times poverty is it's like it runs parallel with like being good and being humble and like
Right.
rags to riches stories like Oliver Twist. But in this movie, the poor people are the ones that are more conniving, which I think it's
Right. Oh yeah.
which it's I think it's a better reflection on reality. Not saying that all poor people are evil, but it specifically in like third world countries, um, people who are poorer or have lower lesser means, like you got to do what you got to do to survive out here. So
Yeah.
that's when you start hustling and doing ruses and schemes or whatever. And even here in America, uh, you know as far as the reasons, we can talk all day as far as why lower income areas have higher crime. Like that's a whole political topic that we can go on and on about. But the fact is, they do. You know, uh, I think it's because when you push I'm not saying men are animals, but when you push an animal, when you corner an animal, the claws come out. So when you push a person to the point where, like, this is it,
It's make or break.
yeah, it's make or break. You got to do what you got to do. You got to go out there and hustle or something.
Yeah, it's like survival
That-
of the fittest.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's my favorite part about the movie is the first act sets up how despicable the main characters are. I think they're the Kim family. They're the poor family.
Yeah.
And you look at them, you see their dynamics, and you see their whole angle is they're just trying to connive their way and scheme their way into getting better things for themselves, and they're all in on it, and they all have their own schemes going
Mhm.
on. But halfway through the movie, you actually start rooting for them,
Oh,
and
yeah.
just seeing that shift from they finally got what they thought they wanted, and they're having a great time with it, and then all of a sudden things start getting a little bit more intense and a little bit more involved, and you start rooting for them. They start out being like, ugh, these people are ugh. And then at like halfway through, they become the people that you want to see succeed and you want to see do, because it becomes less of like a wow, you're gonna drop yourself to like you're doing this kind of you're worming your way in and taking advantage of people. And then as it gets through, like, well, they succeeded and they did pretty well up to this point. You kind of want to see them because they were so smart about it, continue. And then, it turns out that and then you feel really bad for the housekeeper,
maid.
because like
Yeah.
she's just an old she's just an old lady that served them for
Yeah,
years,
been there from
like never
before
had
the
any issue,
previous. Yeah.
and they get rid of her in the shittiest way. Like
Oh,
they do
yeah.
they screw her
We'll talk
over.
about that. You talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but then she comes back, and it's like, and she has a secret to keep too, and it's everything and it turns out the lady that you thought was like, oh, she's just doing her thing. She's been living here for years. She's as scummy as they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the interesting things is just like it kind of starts out innocent. Like his homie is like, yo, can you hook me up and like help me out, teach this girl? And then like the next one, it's like, well, we'll create a job for the girl, for the sister, they're not kicking anybody out, but then it just gets like more and more scheming and conniving.
Yeah.
But like one of the interesting things is like in that halfway point, like when we do find out that the housekeeper is keeping her husband down in the basement, it's just like the family is starting to, since they're all staying at that house during the time, the Kim family, like while the rich family's on vacation, like they're kind of starting to act like the rich family, like being like having that like that higher place in life, because they start to act like they're better than the people who were doing the exact same thing as what they were doing, like with the whole schemes and stuff. And I think just the way they portrayed like class relations in this film is just really outstanding.
Well,
Yes.
when they're staying, when the rich family, I think the Kim family,
The Park is the rich family.
Yeah,
the
the
Park
Park
is
family's the rich family. The Kim family
Yeah.
is the poor family.
So when the Parks go on vacation, and the Kims are living it up, drinking all their expensive booze or whatever, they even start fantasizing about, Kevin, the brother, marrying into the family, because they know that he has a thing with the daughter of the Parks. So they're even like, oh man, this could be us. Like this could legit be us. Because
Yeah.
like if you marry her, dude, we're in. We're definitely in. At that
Yeah.
point.
Made me think like, wow, is this actually gonna happen? How would that work out? Would they just be like, hey, we've been the family the whole time? At least I thought so.
I
At
don't
least I
know.
thought so. But because I wasn't expecting it to be so good and throw us a twist right there. At least
Oh,
not
there are
that
plenty
hard.
of twists.
Not that hard.
There are
yeah.
twists. There are
I was
twists
like-
all the way through the movie.
I was like, is it going to be like an
It keeps
underdog
running.
story? Like they do marry into the family, and then they're just like, we welcome you anyway, even though you kind of scummed us a little bit. We still like you.
To me, it was crazy that like I know a lot of people aren't fans of trailers, but I love movie trailers. Like I really do. Like my girlfriend hates them, but I legitimately love them. And you watch the trailer for this movie, and it doesn't tell you anything, which I
Those
think
are
is
the best
very,
kind of trailers.
I never watched.
I've actually
the
never
trailer.
seen the trailer.
Me either.
Yeah.
I just heard
It-
about it and watched it.
it's intriguing. Like you watch it and like, whoa, because like I found out about it because everybody was telling me, man, this movie's crazy. This movie's great. Like Parasite's amazing. Go watch it. Da, 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 da. Then I look up the trailer and it didn't tell you anything. I'm like, yeah, okay, but I'm trusting on what people have to say about it. So then Andy and I watched it and I was like, oh my gosh, this movie's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My film buddy was like raving about it a couple months, like right after it came out. He's like, bro, you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I knew nothing about it. Like I hadn't watched a trailer. I knew that it was a Korean film and it was really good, and that's all I knew. And I watched it and I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, this is before Oscar season, and I was like, this has to be nominated for at least Best Picture, if not like a lot of other awards.
Yeah.
You got like foreign film, best
yeah.
picture.
I just watched it because it's on Hulu. They added it to Hulu. So I watched it just a couple like I'm dating the video, but like I had watched it very recently before the filming of this video. And I watched it because you guys said it was pretty good. So that's why I checked it out. I was like, when they must be thinking it's pretty good. And I already spoilers, I'm a weeaboo. I'm not a Korea boo. I don't listen to the K-pop all that much. I like some K rock, but that's about it. I don't watch a whole lot of Korean stuff. So like, I was like, all right, I'll give it a chance. It's not as good as my anime, but then like I watched it and I was like, oh, I'm really into this. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't watch anything. I didn't read any reviews, and I had read like it's under comedy as well. Like if you look up like the things that it's tagged under, comedy is one of them. And I was like, comedy.
No, crap. It's definitely
I
not.
mean, it was pretty
I
funny.
wonder
They
if-
had some good bits
They
in there.
they say
There were some
comedy
good
and
things,
like
but I
what else
want-
did they say?
I wonder if like the first half of it, I wonder if a lot of the comedy is lost in translation. If it's more because
Yeah.
we just don't understand like the cultural jokes that they're making. Because I'm sure there's a lot more to it. There definitely were some comedic elements that I could tell were attempts and comedic, timing and everything. It had all the signatures of it, but there are other parts I'm like, I don't know if this is supposed to be. It just didn't land, and I think it's just because we don't have the same cultural view.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So,
true.
We don't have the
That's
same
true.
sensibilities and stuff.
Yeah.
There was a funny joke in the beginning. They were talking about the how the kid was into the park kid, the son
Oh yeah,
who was into art. He was into like Native American stuff and like tents and stuff. They were like, oh, is it like safe? And the mom was like, oh, we ordered it from America.
Yeah,
it's
I
gonna be
was
perfect.
like, okay,
okay, good one, nice.
Yeah.
I guess
But
it
I think-
is pretty funny at the beginning. There's some pretty good jokes. But then like it goes on and on.
I
At
think one of the
first-
advantages. Oh, like
Go
I
ahead.
think one of the advantages of like watching it with subtitles instead of like dubs. I don't know if it's been dubbed in English, but one
I
of the
don't think
advantages
so.
of watching it with subtitles is like the actors like portrayal lands a lot
Mhm.
better. Like it just
Oh,
you can
definitely.
you don't have to know what they're saying. Like even if you're reading it and you can tell, like you can hear the emotion in their voice. And I think
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
the comedy comes off better with that, and just the emotional aspect of the performances comes off a lot better. And so
Seems like
Yeah.
Noah's
Subs,
hashtag
not
sub,
dubs.
not dub. there you go. There you go. Beautiful.
To me, it depends.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought at first that this was going to be like an apocalyptic, like some sort of zombie movie or something.
Yeah, it
Yeah, me
sounds like
too.
that with the name
It
Parasite.
opens up and that, and also because they have the scene where the guy's going through and spraying all the bug sprayer and it gets
Oh,
in their
yeah.
house and stuff like that.
oh yeah,
Which now I'm thinking, wow, that's kind of a metaphor for the whole film.
It's just because
like
yeah.
they're like he's going around killing parasites, he's killing pesticides, he's doing
Mhm.
pesticide stuff, and it's like, and it gets into their house, which kind of the represented they're the parasites.
Mhm.
But I thought it was going to be something like there's a disease, there is a parasite that starts taking over. And that
Yeah,
drunk guy
me
out there originally was going to be like, they're going to be, hey, go away or whatever, and he's going to attack them or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't.
So yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, I was just saying it's like it's a movie that really like keeps you on your toes. Like you don't
Uh-huh.
really know where it's
Mhm.
going, honestly, until like that halfway point. You're like, what? Like, where does it go? Where do we go from here? Like, you can't
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of see what's going to happen, because a lot of films you're like, oh, I can kind of see that this is going to happen, and then they're going
Right.
to do this,
Mhm.
but you have no idea where it's going to go. And I think that's one
Yeah.
of the best parts.
Yeah.
A movie with similar film. I know, like Andy and I watch it. And it's just, if not more, anxiety inducing. Is The Quiet Place. A Quiet Place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It has that same feeling that like I was watching a movie in the theater. Like
Yeah,
I was
we
like,
both went and saw
this-
it.
Yeah, this is the most anxiety inducing movie I've seen ever in my life. Like I was literally like, but it's the same thing, like the way this is written, because like you don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I haven't
You
seen that.
legit don't
I haven't
know.
seen that movie.
I mean, that one. If Parasite gives you anxiety, then A Quiet Place is gonna want to
Yeah.
make you go take some medicine, because
Oh my
it's even
gosh.
in
Yeah.
my opinion, it's more anxiety inducing. But as far as the writing go, and the beautiful thing about like Parasite and A Quiet Place, like if a movie's gonna give me anxiety, it better have a good payoff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Straight
Oh,
up.
dude, I watched this garbage film with my girlfriend. Not that it was like bad because I watched it with her, but it was like
Yeah,
it was in
was.
theaters. It was in theaters, and we just wanted to watch something. It was like Escape Room, I think. It was like
Oh,
I've heard of
yeah.
it. I've
Oh.
heard of that.
it was like anxiety the whole time. I was just like, it keeps you on the edge, and then it's just like the ending was just like it was
Oh my
bad.
gosh.
I was like,
I've
oh
heard
come
that.
on, man! At least you could have a better payoff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
one of my favorite
like-
movies. that does a really good like a in my opinion the best written horror movie ever produced is Alien, like the original Alien,
Oh yeah.
because
Oh, dude.
I've always heard of it, but I was like, that looks stupid. Then I actually watched it, and like the way it arcs, and like it's very exposed and long at first. It takes forever to pick
Oh
up,
yeah.
but when it picks up, like the anxiety goes through the roof, and the payoff is great. So that's what I like about like Alien, A Quiet Place, and Parasite. Like the anxiety is like I hate feeling anxious. I think
Yeah.
everybody hates that
Yeah.
feeling of get me out of here. And then you finally get the payoff, and you're like, finally
The
I can
release,
rest
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And some movies just don't do that well. You know, they
The
they
ending
Yeah.
build
of
up the stakes, like they ramp up the stakes, and it's like, oh well, never mind.
This
the end.
movie reminds me of, I may have mentioned it before. As far as like the twistiness and the I'm not sure where this is going to go. It's also a Korean film, Old Boy. I don't know if anybody's in this group has
I
seen
think
that.
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
I have not.
Yeah, it's 2003, so it's been a while now, but it's definitely one of those. It feels a lot like this movie where it starts out and here's the premise, and you're like, what's going on, and then it just continues to pick up, and it's kind of on the edge of your seat the whole time, and you have no idea where it's going to go. So yeah, it definitely feels like that, and it feels a lot like that in a lot of ways. In that, in both films, so this is not really a spoiler for that film or for this one, but the protagonist, it kind of deconstructs the climax, deconstructs the protagonist, and the protagonist doesn't win in the end in a
Mhm.
lot of ways.
Yeah.
But it's not like an unsatisfying, like, oh well, that's kind of lame, or trying to set up a sequel or something like that. In both films, it's like, okay, yeah, you could it's set up well enough, and it's done well enough that you could definitely see it that, yeah, this works for the type of movie they're making.
Mm.
Yeah. Another movie that I saw maybe about a month ago. It it's not like it doesn't ramp up the anxiety like Parasite or A Quiet Place or Alien does, but it does keep you on the edge of your seat because the character in this movie, and it's a Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. I don't
Oh
know if you guys have
man, that's a
Mm-mm.
Oh
great
have you
yeah,
film.
seen it?
No, I haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
It's oh man, it's a great film because so basically I'm not gonna spoil it because it's legitimately, in my opinion, a well written film, and like the stakes, like it's not life or death.
Mm-hmm.
The stakes are not as high as in Alien or as in The Quiet Place, but basically this guy Adam Sandler, his actions, like it's just like a domino effect essentially. Like
Mm-hmm.
they keep getting like and everything he does, like it's almost like he can't win. He can't
Yeah.
win.
Mm-hmm.
He comes up with a scheme. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna flip this money this way, but that goes sideways. And like, oh crap! Now how do I
Mm-hmm.
fix it? And I think the payoff for the kind of movie that it is was pretty good. I'm not gonna. I know Andy already saw the ending, and I'm not gonna
yeah,
spoil it, but I think it was a fitting resolution and a fitting
Yeah,
release to the tension in a way.
yeah.
but
Yeah, but he definitely, the Adam Sandler's character definitely gives me anxiety because he doesn't stop. Like, he just keeps going. It's like, oh well,
Yeah,
this didn't work, but I'm not gonna
Mhm.
like cut my losses and just get out of it. No, he's got to try another scheme to get back in and try to loop everything back together and
Mhm.
make it all work. And it just
well,
keeps ramping up and up and up, and it's just like, "Ugh."
yeah, he just
eh,
keeps
well,
getting beat down and then come back up, and he's like, no, no, well, I can try.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
I think something that like when you're dealing with tens of thousands of dollars in such highly volatile market, you know, you can flip 100 grand like that, like
yeah,
in like boom, like because he had so many schemes going on that if only one of those schemes were to have turned in his favor, he would have been good.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's the like my favorite, like to me the biggest like oh bro moment was when he was trying to put the opal for I guess I'm gonna spoil it a little bit, but still go watch it. When he tried to put the opal for bidding,
yeah.
and he overestimated the
Oh
worth,
yeah,
and they told him that it was significantly less than what he thought it was gonna be worth.
yeah.
I almost had a brick, bro. Like I had to pause that movie and go, how is he gonna get out of this? Like
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
his ace in the hole. Like he thought the opal was worth like $3
Yeah,
million
he
or
yeah,
whatever.
he was
and-
like betting on like just that, and he had no
Yeah.
other backup plan or anything. I think the ending of that film is it's definitely fitting for like the arc and just the narrative of the story, but I feel like it's one of those where it's like not necessarily the most satisfying, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get into the why exactly, but it's just like it ramps up that tension the whole time, and you're like seeing this guy like just get beaten down and then come back up and then get beaten down again, and then the ending happens, and you're like, oh, okay, I can see why that works narratively,
Yeah.
but man, it doesn't feel good.
The most anxiety producing scene in that movie in Hidden Gems was when the door to his jewelry shop jams and they can't get it open.
Oh,
Bro,
at the end.
I think it's towards the end where they're finally Kevin Garnett's finally walking in and the door jams and they can't get it open
Oh yeah.
before he has to jimmy it with the thing when it just it glitches and the door won't open.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was some good stuff. That was a good film.
So back to Parasite. This movie starts off like a regular kind of movie. You know, we have the Kim family. It opens up with them struggling to make ends meet. They're all like box folders for pizza, and they're in this like semi basement apartment. And that's when his friend comes over. Like I'll get into like the basic story of it. But his friend comes over. One of the boys, Kiwoo. Sorry, Kiwoo is the main boy, and his friend, what's his friend's name again? Kijong. No, that's
He's
the
only in
sister.
it for like the one scene.
Yeah, his friend gives him a scholar's rock, which is mean to promise material wealth into the person that he gives it to, and then he leaves to study abroad, and then Kiwoo takes over the English tutor for the daughter of the wealthy Park family, and then he's kind of whatever at first. He's like, I don't know if I can do it. I never actually made it into university. And he's like, well, just fake it. You passed. You've taken the exam 4 times. You may as well. And then his sister forges the document, and that's what gets him hired. And because they're like, the mom is really stupid. She's aloof, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. She's
And
not
so
the brightest.
yeah, she's like, I don't care about papers. Our previous guy said you're good. You're good.
Yeah, well, she's like, I think the idea is that she's been raised in that sort of environment, that comfy, cushy environment her entire life. So she doesn't have to deal with like she's probably never experienced the hard life of the streets or anything. So she's
Yeah.
not really looking for people like she's her entire family's been conned for years and she never had any idea.
Yeah.
Because she's not looking for any she's not thinking that people are trying to take advantage of her because she's rich.
Yeah, it shows that a couple times through the movie.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and I that like it really drives that point home that she really doesn't quite understand.
Yeah.
Like, and she's definitely very like naive and kind of
Yeah.
easy to manipulate, which
Like
is
when-
unfortunate, but plays
Like-
in their favor.
Like when
Something
they bring
that-
in the sister. Go ahead.
Something that gets me, and I know like you have to suspend your disbelief, for good writing, which the movie has, but I wonder why because they were, folding boxes or whatever for pennies, essentially for scraps.
Yeah.
So I wonder what kept them from like getting better jobs, or what was the reason they couldn't quote unquote move up the ladder? Like, was it learned helplessness, or what were the factors as to why they were poor?
That I have no
don't know.
idea.
Because I
I
mean, they
think-
mentioned that like the dad was a driver back in the day, and he had a pretty
Yeah.
decent job, and like he's floated through a couple of jobs, but it never really gives
Yeah. And
a reason
then-
as to why.
Yeah, the son he took the entrance exams for university 4 times, which I took Asian studies. That you don't usually get to take it 4 times. It's really upsetting, but they don't usually make it to 4, if you know what I'm trying to say.
They won't let you take it 4 times? Is that what
No,
you're trying to say?
they usually commit suicide by the time they fail it. Suicide rate in South Korea for entrance exams, like it's really high. They
it's
actually have like a
brutal.
shelter space for students who don't pass, and they're like, okay, just come here, and they study for hours and hours, and like so like
a lot of pressure.
the fact that this kid is so nonchalant, I guess that has to make me just suspend my disbelief a little bit too, because I was like, 4 times. That's pretty
I
interesting.
mean, I wonder if like their lack of wealth had anything to do with it. Like maybe they weren't.
they were.
Really,
He was. Yeah.
the parents didn't really have those expectations because they might not
Yeah.
have been able to pay for a good school anyways.
Yeah. Maybe he was
But-
already that low, and they're like, try it again, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't go into depth, and I believe
Yeah.
it's probably a more Korean based thing. I bet the
Mm.
underlying thing is like, I mean, because it's based on the Korean economy. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
But a Korean audience member would. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, and definitely the point that he's trying to make here, and the whole idea of the movie is the fact of how nearly impossible it is to move up the ladder. There is
Yeah.
no income movement at all. And I think the thing was like they're doing this pizza job or whatever. And they're living in this garbage apartment, and they're all kind of just they're doing whatever because there's nothing else available.
Maybe.
Like I got it, based on what I can tell, the dad probably lost his job, and after that it was, and they couldn't get anything else going for him.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. I don't know how exactly
Yeah.
that looks, but I can definitely relate to that on some level.
Yeah. And then,
Well-
oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm not an expert, nor do I pretend to be an expert on the Korean economy, but I do know this. Korea, South Korea, I don't know if it's the most educated nation in the world. I think it is per capita. South Korea is the most educated nation in the world per capita, if not the most educated. It's definitely up there. So they have come to this unique problem where everybody is highly educated because of society pressures or whatever reason that they're actually not in there. A lot of experts would say that they're overeducated because there's a lot of blue collar jobs, but they're either like they don't have nobody to take them. But I think it's gonna come down to maybe I think blue collar jobs are gonna start paying more, so that they're gonna have a switch in their economy
Yeah.
because they have all these educated people, like all these office gigs or doctors or whatever, are probably gonna start getting paid less because of supply and demand, and all these like McDonald workers and trash collectors, they're probably gonna start getting paid more. Well, because in the example here in America, at least here in Tennessee, trash collectors make way more money than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most trash collectors have like full benefits. Full benefits, like I'm talking like insurance, like 401k, and they get paid a good amount of money.
Yeah.
And most of them aren't unionized, at least here in the South.
No, same here in California.
Yeah.
They get paid a good amount.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I know that a lot of trade jobs are now in demand, like welding and
Yeah.
stuff like that,
Oh, yeah.
masonry, anything like that, where you have like just a certification or like minimal education, because the medical field in
Everyone's-
America, yeah, it's not oversaturated, but there's a lot of medical workers, but like fields like cosmetology are oversaturated. Anything like that, it's pretty high up. Like everyone's in it, so like if you're not gonna go for like a medical field job, then you should probably go for like a trade job
Yeah.
here in America. That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah, I
pays
know- I
pretty
know.
well.
In some like welding at one place down here, you can with minimal you just need a high school degree or a GED, and I don't know if you need experience or not, but you can start out as a welder making $17 an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
electrician's apprentice.
Yeah,
That's pretty
and
good.
it's because you're
I
right.
think
There's definitely a higher demand for it because there's
Yeah.
a smaller supply.
Maybe
Yeah,
that'll
I
happen
think
in
that
Korea.
our generation is the generation that now all of a sudden you have all these trade schools and this push for trade education and trade schools, and the reason why that is because um our education is our generation is a generation that um I guess came to the realization of the economic bubble,
Mm.
because it used to be where like, man, you got your undergrad, man, like people were knocking at your door trying to
Yeah.
hire you, but
Mhm.
now because of honestly, in my opinion, it's because like particularly and I'm not trying to get political, particularly the Obama administration handed out, student loans like it was candy. I'm one of those people.
Mm.
I'll admit
Mhm.
it. I'm one of those people. So yes, more people got to go to college, but more people got into debt,
Mm-hmm.
which means that the fields are way more competitive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so now people
yeah.
are starting to realize that, oh my gosh, like a plumber actually makes a decent living,
Yeah.
an
Yeah, I mean,
electrician makes it.
like a high school will just like push all their students to go to college, and like
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's just how it is. Like it's normal to go to college, and everyone has this dream of going to college when it's really, I mean, it's technically not necessary. You could
Mm.
go to
No.
trade
Yeah.
school and you could do the same thing. And I'm sure
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like that's what's happening in Korea, is like they have too
Mm.
many educated people and not enough uneducated people to do the blue collar jobs, which are just as legitimate as like,
Yeah.
accounting and finance, and like, any sort of medical, or, all the other jobs
Mm.
that you need a degree for.
Yeah. And maybe that's and like Andy was saying about Parasite, like maybe that is like something about the Korean culture, because I know it's not just in Korea, it's like in Japan and in
Yeah.
I think Korea seems to be like the most pressurized educational environment. Like I said, I haven't
Japan,
done my research,
China,
but
and Korea.
well, China has the highest suicide rates in the world.
Mm.
Um, but I think that part of why they're so overeducated is because of the whole like tiger mom stereotype, and it's just there's for whatever reason there seems to be a greater societal push
Yeah.
to getting an education and becoming a doctor or an
Mhm.
engineer.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I have some good friends who are from South Korea. Their parents are from South Korea, and when they talk about like how they grew up, it's very much exactly
oh
what
dude,
you're
it's
talking
Yeah.
about.
yeah,
It's kind of like, as Americans, it's almost sad to hear that, because it's just, there's no reason you need to push someone that hard and to that
Yeah.
extent. It's like it hurts them, but
Yeah.
they're doing good
Yeah.
now. But
To break
yeah,
away
it's-
once more from Parasite, I would say, especially the generation two after us, the newest ones, they want to be no school, no trade school either. They just want to be influencers. I mean, that's the biggest push right now is,
Well,
I can
freaking
boomers.
upload I can upload a video of Minecraft and I'm going to get 1 million views. That's what everyone thinks nowadays.
yeah.
Even I think that
Especially
sometimes
deceiving.
it sucks.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
especially deceiving apps like
Mm.
TikTok, where you can get on and it doesn't take a whole lot of anything to get
Yeah.
a lot of traction,
Mhm.
just because of the nature of the site and what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I think that can definitely have a really bad effect of people being like, oh, I can just do this for
Yeah.
whatever, and
I
make it
can-
onto,
yeah.
because you got people like the Hype House who are 15, 16-year-olds who are getting on national TV and are well known across the nation already, and they're in high school,
Yeah.
and it's now, of course, a lot of those kids already have financial backing from their parents, like everyone in the Hype
Yeah.
House.
yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't work themselves to get there. Their
Yeah.
parents put them there.
That's-
So there's
yeah.
also that too. But those kind of kids, like people see those, like kids see those kids on the news and stuff, like, wow, I can do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I wonder if
Yeah.
that might end up helping us in the future. Like all these kids aren't going to go to school,
Yeah.
and so then they do the trade jobs, and it kind of evens out.
Yeah.
Maybe. But the thing is with like, so with the difference in that is like so my stepfather is a professional HVAC technician, right? And I used to help him this summers when I was in high school. Dude, HVACing or working that job takes a
Yeah.
lot of logic.
Mm.
You have to sit there and you have your brain. I mean, you could, if you're a very kinetic learner, you could do really great in trade school because there's a lot of logic and you're working with your hands and learn how to
Yeah.
do it. That takes logic and skill and honing. Now, getting on social media and dancing like an idiot, like that takes no logic. That takes no.
Well, it does there, but to get good at it and to get recognized is
Yeah.
also a skill in and of itself. Because not everybody, even though TikTok is designed to push people to the front and to get more people noticed, and
Yeah.
it's easier to do that than on other platforms. It is a skill to be able to have some sort of. You got to have confidence. That's one of the big things on that. It's like I don't know if you listen to the TMG podcast, but they're talking about, they call it the L House.
Oh yeah.
Which is basically like somebody tried to make a hype house, but they're all kind of like not really there, and they're kind of insecure, and it comes through, and it's just it's
Oh
difficult
my
to
gosh.
watch. So those if you're not with it and you don't have that factor, it's going to be harder for you to push in that field. So it is a skill in of itself, but you're right.
Yeah.
It doesn't take any education.
Yeah.
It's more just a natural talent
Yeah.
that some people possess.
Well, it comes down to marketable skills,
Yeah.
like it really comes down to like, are people willing to pay money to see you dance on TikTok like an idiot,
Yeah.
or do you like, okay, so I know how to speak Spanish, right?
Mhm.
Which is the reason why I have this job that I have now, which is the reason, like, not only do I know how to speak Spanish, but I'm proficient in Google and Windows, like, which is my skills are marketable enough to where somebody said, we'll pay money for those skills.
Yeah.
And in Parasite, maybe that's one of the reasons why they were poor. They didn't have any marketable skills.
I mean, well, the
They don't-
daughter did.
Yeah, I was about to say. The
She-
sister
Yeah,
had that.
that's true.
because
And
they
the
went
dad
to.
was a good driver.
Yeah, the dad
Yeah.
was a good driver. That's
Well,
I
maybe-
guess.
Well, maybe that's
mean-
part of the lesson, that like complacency almost, or like I said, learn helplessness, because they had skills that
Yeah.
like the
Mhm.
guy Kevin legit knew English, right?
Yeah, he
and
knew
Jessica
English, yeah.
legit knew how to graphic design.
Yeah.
Yes, they like
Yeah.
BS the way through it, but they knew how to do it.
Mm,
So
Yeah.
like it makes me wonder, like, did they just kind of give up on themselves, or
quite
I think
possibly.
Well,
so.
I mean,
Because they
it's
mention it. They mention it a couple times throughout the film that like each of the members of the family is like good at one thing. Like the dad's a good driver, the mom's a good like housekeeper. They mentioned that she had like a job similar to that before.
Yeah.
And then the two kids. I wonder if it is something like that where they kind of got
give
complacent. They're
up,
like, well,
maybe.
we live right, we're okay as we do now. It might not be the best cushy life, but we're chilling. We're making ends
Maybe.
meet. And they're just like, we're happy with that.
Yeah. But the other thing that's kind of interesting is when you see them start out, like in most movies you see of poor people that are the protagonist, it's always the like we said, the rags to riches stories, or oh man, they don't deserve to be in this position. They
Yeah.
have the heart of gold and they're giving everything and they're doing this and this and this.
Mhm.
And these people are like, no, they're not at all like that. They're trying to connive and finagle and do all these take all these shortcuts to get what they want and to get what they
Mhm.
need. Not
Yeah.
that they won't work hard at it, but it's instead of it being like their push is to push into an honorable field, or like what we would consider honor, like do
Yeah.
it the quote unquote normal way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're working really hard at doing it the shyster way and
Yeah.
the fraud way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll put effort into it when it's like taking advantage.
Yeah.
Of,
Right.
of yeah.
Of the rich family, because I mean they started off
And they go-
Yeah.
They go to like great lengths to kick these other workers out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
It's very entertaining and it's
Yeah.
almost funny at points, but it's never like you're never rooting for them during that part. You're
No.
like, this
Yeah.
is
No, no.
kind of this
Especially-
is not a good thing that they're doing.
Yeah, because it's when they bring in the daughter, when I'm like, okay, all right, they're gonna get it just for the daughter, and then I saw her sliding off her panties, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's about to happen? And she leaves it in
It's not
there.
graphic. She's getting driven home by the driver.
Yeah,
and
it's
he's
not like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
hitting
they
on
were
her
like
a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she's like, and she sees, and her brain starts turning the gears, and she says, "I can
Yeah.
use this to my advantage."
Yeah.
And so she in the back seat, she just kind of she slides her panties off and leaves them under the seat, so that
Mhm.
they find him later in, and they make assumptions about the driver, and
Yeah.
then they
The
kick him out.
the driver's so nice too. He was like a sweet
Yeah.
guy. He was just like, maybe I could
I
take you on a
bet-
date sometime. She's like, I got a boyfriend. And it's like, oh, okay.
I bet if he had stayed around in the movie, he would have had some sort of horrible secret as well. He would have come
Probably.
back and been like, "Aha,
Yeah.
I bombed all the cars or whatever."
Oh my gosh.
Or I don't know.
Yeah, but then
And like
okay.
even that little bit, like it plays into the idea of like the Park family kind of just having these preconceived notions about like lower
Yeah.
class people.
And being
So like
aloof
they're like,
too.
oh, he
Oh,
must
yeah.
have had sex in the car. He
in
must have
my
been like
seat.
he
He's
must
like,
have
yeah.
raped someone, who was,
Yeah.
he must have drugged someone and had his way with them. And it's just like
Yeah.
they have those preconceived notions about these technically lower class people,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
just kind of drives that point home that
Yeah,
the Park family's
yeah.
not good either.
They drive it
they might be
home.
rich, but they're not.
Yeah, around the halfway point, they also drive it home in a way that made me kind of switch roles a little bit, like because then they bring in the dad after the driver gets fired. Then they get the mom in because they have to get the old lady out, and they're like, oh, I just want peaches, and like, why can't we have peaches? And the daughter goes, the Park daughter goes, well, because she's allergic. She gets this like this rash. And so that's how they get her out is they I feel so bad for her at the beginning because they start flaking peach fuzz on her and she has this
Oh, man.
super awful cough. And then they put a again.
And then they gaslight the lady into thinking it's a
Yeah.
serious issue.
Yeah.
Tuberculosis. Yeah.
They think it's tuberculosis, TB, and they're like, "Do people get TB anymore?" And he's like, "Yeah, I heard the doctor say." And then they plant the hot sauce on the thing. That was the final nail in the coffin. And then you don't even
so good.
I know you didn't even see her like I mean, you didn't hear her get fired. But it was a solemn moment where it was the park mom and the housekeeper outside. And she just looks so solemn. Yeah, you see it through a window, like we did at the very
just
beginning.
like having a conversation.
Yeah. That's the thing I did forget. The housekeeper was there from before. She was there was an architect who built the house, and she was the previous housekeeper for them as well, for the previous owner. So she's been with them for like 18 years with that house or whatever. And so they kick her out, and then they bring in the mom, and that's when it's all set. Everyone's set there. And then
everyone's like,
yeah,
everything's
going good. You know, the son is flirting with the daughter. They're getting along great. He's teaching her English. And the daughter, Kim daughter comes in as Jessica, and she's an art therapist. And this is where you see the mom is aloof again, because she goes, see that corner right there? It's all black. That's the schizophrenia side of art. The mom goes,
yeah,
I can't believe it.
Yeah, Jessica finesses the mom.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
That's
She's definitely like the most schemy of the group.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I think is definitely the reason why she was probably the one,
Yeah, spoilers for 5 minutes down the road, but like
yeah.
I think the thing that sent it over the edge for me was after they got everyone out, and it's the son's birthday. It's Da-song Kim, or Kim Da-song. So that's when it's his birthday, and they go on a camping trip. And so the old people are out of the house, and it's just the main Kim family are sitting in the house. Everyone else is gone. That's when the former housekeeper comes and knocks on the door, hits the little doorbell. And she's like, I left something in there. Can I come in, please? And they're like, this wasn't in the plan. What do we do? Then they hide in the house. This is about the halfway point. And then they let her in. They're like, okay, the 3 of them are hiding, and it's the mom lets her in. And that's when she's like, I just left something in the basement. And then you see her pushing this thing, and you're like, whoa, what's she pushing this thing out of the way? And she pushes out, and she goes, honey, I'm here. And you're like, honey, what are you talking about? And that's when you find out that she's been keeping her husband down there. And she's like, please, we had
12 years.
Yeah. It was 4 years, I think. It was 3 years.
4 years? Some crazy amount of time.
Yeah. It was right before, it was in between.
Yeah, Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was just saying, I like the little thing where they say, where I think it's the dad is talking to the park mom, and they're discussing the housekeeper, and like while they're trying to get her like kicked out.
Yeah.
And the mom says something about how she always eats enough for 2. You know, like she is a bit enough,
of a
like
porker.
a bit much to handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like it pays off, and then you're like,
oh yeah, it was the father, the park dad, who was like,
oh, it's the dad.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's in the back seat of the car, and she's like, she eats enough for 2. And you're like, oh, this guy's kind of an ass.
No, yeah, you definitely get the sense that park dad is like, I mean, you see him at work, and you see him talking to people. He definitely thinks he's all this.
He's high and mighty, and the mom is aloof and dumb. So
yeah.
Then you're like, maybe they're just connected from society. They're not whatever. But once we see like the husband is down there, we're like, oh my gosh. And you're still not really, you're still rooting sort of for the lady. You're like, okay, well, she had this secret. It's really bad. And you find out they've been dodging loan sharks for these 4 years because they took out a loan because they were poor too. And so she would bring him food like every once in a while. And then the old housekeeper, what's her name? Moon Guang is like, please just don't tell anyone, bring us food just once a week. That's all we ask for. You know what, once a month. And she's like, I got to call the police. And that's when the other 3 sneak down into the basement, and they got him.
They got Nick.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was still streaming. Still, here we go. Discord kicked me off and then back in. But
Discord knows too much.
like I was saying to the camera, and I thought you guys were there still. But uh,
Yeah, they say bring us food once a week. We can all work together on this.
yeah, they're like we can work
Mhm.
once a week. But then the other three, the other Kim
Mhm.
family, starts to sneak down to try and listen to what's going on, and the dad slips and kicks them all downstairs. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck?" He said the son goes, "Dad, my leg," and then the housekeeper has it on phone. It's like, I'll show this to the family," and then they're all
Yeah.
begging. Then they're all begging the other family. And they're like, "Please don't tell them." They're like, "I'll
Mhm.
push the send button." Then they all come upstairs,
Yeah.
and the husband and the Guang Moon are like, Moon Guang are like, "All right, we got it." And that's when it hits the fan. Actually, is because it's those two families, or the husband and the wife, and then the Kim family are there, and you're like, all right, I don't know what's going on. At least the Park family is out of there. And then the mom calls and goes, "Hey, can you make Ramdan?" And you're like, "What the heck is Ramdan?" This is Bitching with Babish made it, and he was like, "This shows how aloof they are because they had this big, juicy steak to put in packaged ramen and udon." And you're like, "Okay, that's goofy."
Yeah, it's kind of a waste of like an expensive cut of meat.
Yeah, to throw it in noodles. And so they're like, "Hey, can you make this, please? Put the water on now. By the time we get there, it'll be great." Because it was raining the whole time. A big storm came down. I didn't tell you that. They were all chilling out, and there was a big storm.
Wait,
So that's when she
Complete
came in.
disregard for their maid's like
Yeah.
life or anything. They're coming in real late. Their plans have changed.
Yeah.
But they're not like, hey, you know what? We'll just eat a sandwich or something. We'll go back
Yeah,
to sleep.
we'll
They're not
rough
like,
it
no,
out.
Just get out of bed and make this big ass meal in the middle of
Mhm.
in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So they're making the meal, and they have to tie up the other two downstairs, and they got him down there. The father's down there. I think the son is hiding underneath the daughter's bed because he had to put her diary back. He's been reading her diary, and that's when he finds out that they're kind of a thing. What was I gonna say? That's I lost it. I'm coming back to it. Oh yeah, so then the daughter is underneath the coffee table. So everyone's all spread out. They're nowhere near each other.
Mhm.
And the family is home, and then the husband and wife are downstairs tied up. And the father is keeping the couple occupied, and that's when you find out something even weirder to me, is that they, even though they're downstairs, they don't have automatic lights for the stairs. The husband has been doing it
Oh.
for years. He's been pushing
Yeah.
the buttons, and then he leaves a thank you message with Morse code. That's pretty weird to me. So
Yeah.
even though they're about to like die, I mean, the husband is still sending a message. He's like, "I got to do it." So he's been trained, I guess. And so yeah, they're fighting to like not get caught by the family. And then it comes like the old housemaid's about to run up the stairs and tell them the wife, the Kim wife, kicks her down the stairs. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's dead. Her head is busted open." And
Yeah.
they kept on hanging on to it like she's gonna be alive. Spoilers, she doesn't live. But then it gets really tense right here. This is the moment where it gets really tense because the husband and wife are downstairs. She's knocked out and he's tied up, and the family hides underneath the coffee table. They're all there, sneaking around, and this is where my thoughts changed, and I was rooting for them. Like Andy was saying, like it changes because they've been making it this far, but something that really made it changes. The son. The park son goes outside and is like, "I want to sleep in my teepee," and they're like, "Okay, go ahead. We'll sleep on the couch," which is right next to the coffee table, and everyone's freaking out.
Everyone's under it.
Yeah, and then you see just this complete disregard for like, I mean, it is their house and they are whispering, but like, he's like, "Mr. Kim's a pretty cool guy. He just he never crosses the line, even though he almost does." And then I was like, "Yeah, I guess," but then he goes, "He stinks," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're just gonna say that about the guy?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it smells like an old rag, an unwashed rag." And I was like, "Wow, complete disregard for the people that they're like."
Yeah, they don't see them
yeah.
as people.
And that's when you see Mr. Kim. He's like, "Oh, okay," and he like smells himself, and I'm like, I feel really bad. And
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And then that's a point where they're like they start saying Yeah, well, they all smell that way.
Yeah.
And so then they have to be like, oh, well, we have to start washing our clothes in a different detergent so we don't
Yeah. So we don't
throw them
stink.
off the trail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's definitely like you definitely see Mr. Kim out of all of them, and all the rich people treat him this way. But out of all of them, Mr. Kim and the wife, who's kind of like she's vapid enough that she'll kind of just take on whatever her husband says.
Yeah.
And she'll go, okay, whatever you want, honey. So she'll treat. So they all treat them as less than human. They're not even humans. They're just
Mm-hmm.
Just
this is it.
workers.
This is what you're doing.
Yeah.
And
They just
like
serve them.
right when they like for example when she called her in the middle of the night and like, yeah, we're coming back, make big meal,
Make this big meal for us, serve us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and they're like, we'll sleep on the couch for emergencies. And then the son come outside, goes emergency, and we're like, oh my gosh, because they're sneaking out of the house right then at that moment, and you think that they got caught.
yeah.
And that's when he's just like, I can't sleep, and they're like, okay. They all make it outside, and well, all of them except for the Kim mom, because she's the housemaid. She kind of
Yeah,
lives
she's
there.
supposed to stay there. So
Yeah. So the other three get out, and then they find out their house is like ravaged.
yeah, the rain is
Yeah,
the
they left their
rain.
window open because at the beginning of the movie, like we were saying, the pesticides get blown in their window. They just left it open, and yeah, that's when their house is all mucked up. It's all gone to crap. They have to go to like a shelter in a gym, and then the son's like, I got a plan, and they're like, whoa, what's the plan? And he doesn't tell us what the plan is. He's just holding on to the rock, the scholar rock. And sorry for like spoiling the whole movie, but you know what this got into. I wanted to like talk about the whole thing because it's really good. But they all get calls from the mom, the park mom, who goes, hey, we got an impromptu birthday party. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
what this is for Da Song. And
Mhm.
that's this is where everyone is like having a sort of good time at the party.
they invite a bunch of people. It's not
Yeah.
just like hey, we're just gonna have a party. It's like no, we're gonna have a party.
Yeah, they're like,
and
we're
gonna
having a
invite
party
everybody.
and you better show up. Like their friends, their rich friends are coming. They're like, oh, I haven't seen you in forever. Like, don't even bring a present. It's impromptu. And everyone's still dressed super nice. And
Yeah.
then that's when like they're like, everyone's got, they had the plan. They're like, okay, we're just gonna go down there and start feeding them. Okay, we'll work something out with them. And then everything
basement
starts
people, right?
yeah, they're gonna feed the basement people. Like, we're gonna work something out with them. And then everything starts going wrong for them. That they start getting pulled away. Like, they're like, the mom has to go do this, and then the dad is hiding behind a bush with the park dad. They're like, hey, we gotta jump out there and swing our tomahawks like Native Americans, and save the princess, save the cake. The sun will come out. The sun, as in
Their kid.
Da Song, yeah, not the sun will come out, but like Da Song will come out and save the princess, who's the daughter. So they're like,
Save
yeah,
Jessica.
yeah, their plans are going
Yeah.
to crap, and then that's when everyone starts to come up from the basement, and then the son was like, all right. Kim Woo or Kevin is like, all right, I'm gonna go end this. So he takes the rock, and you tell what he's gonna do. He's gonna go kill the family downstairs, and then he goes down there and he drops the rock. He's like, and he sees the wife, Guang Moon, or Moon Guang, every time. She's dead because she cracked her head real good.
and they left her locked in the basement.
Yeah, they left her unlocked in the basement so then the husband comes up and strangles the son with like this makeshift thing. It's like tied him to the pipes.
Yeah, the basement dweller husband, it just goes insane at this point. He's like, he's just here
Oh,
to
yeah.
kill.
Yeah, he's
kill
just
him.
here to
Not
kill.
for revenge.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and
He
then
doesn't care anymore.
yeah, he doesn't care. He's like, I just want out of here. And yeah, the son gets like choked out, and he almost makes it up the stairs, and he gets caught. And then this really gross scene comes on that freaked me out the first time I watched it. I actually had my hands against my face, because the basement husband just slams the rock against his head. You don't see it on screen the first time, and the second time they show it, and I was like, ugh, gross. He smashes his head on camera. I was like, he's dead. The only one I didn't really want to die is gone. And he grabs a kitchen knife and just runs out there and stabs the daughter. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is getting real. So then I guess this is when like the Park family really doesn't care about the Kim family, because they're like, oh my gosh, we just saw this person die. Stop helping the art teacher and throw me the keys. And he's like, okay. He just throws the keys, tries to save his daughter, and the basement husband gets in the way, and the Kim mom has to stab him with a barbecue skewer, and like the keys were underneath him. And then the park dad, this is where it flips the script, and I felt really good about this part, was the park dad rolls him over and gets the keys, and he's like, oh, he stinks. And that's when Kim dad freaks out and is like, all right, I gotta do it. He stabs the dad, and he's dead now. He kills the dad, and they all start freaking out, and then he runs away, and we don't know what happens to him.
Yeah, and everyone's freaking out, and they're all screaming and whatever. And
Yeah,
it's a big chaotic scene.
Yeah, and then, or does anyone else want to go? I've been talking for a while.
Well, it's like a time skip after that, right? They never
Yeah.
find. They never find
Yeah, they never find him.
this murderer came through and killed everybody and da 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 da.
Yeah,
And they never found him and blah blah blah. And then it's like the twist is that the son survived, didn't he?
yeah, he survived. He's got brain injury, so he laughs all the time.
Yeah, he survived. He's messed up permanently. He and the mom are the only ones to survive. But the dad, the dad too. But the dad was able to sneak back around when he ran away. He was able to sneak back around to the secret passage, and he's in the basement now, and he's hiding there because that was the only place he could go. And so that family moved out of the house, and they left there, and they're gone. The rich family, and then basically the son's hoping. Like he goes there every night because the dad taps out using the lights, taps out with the Morse code. He's hoping that he can, in the future, buy the house and basically free his dad from there.
But I mean, it ends very ambiguously. He's like, "This is my plan," and it shows it as if it happened already. Yeah, and then it cuts to him just right after it happens, and he's like, but we're still working there. And
I guess that's like,
you're done.
I guess that's like the big thing that everyone was like at the end is like, did he actually do it or did he not? Personally, no. I think he actually did for me. Because I mean, he was planning on it. Parasite doesn't seem like the kind of movie that would just what if me, because everything they've shown on camera has happened. Maybe I have to just suspend my disbelief there at the very end there.
I don't know. I think it's more of a thing that it doesn't actually happen. It's something he wants to happen, but it's something that because it honestly it would kind of go against the message of the film.
I guess that's
if it worked. If he was able to after all this time work his way up, and be able to get the house that they always wanted, and achieve the dream that he's trying to get. It would go against the film's message that there's no moving up and down.
I guess that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Because it's kind of funny because it's interesting to see the shift from how they were acting at first. They're the scum, and people are treating them like scum in the beginning. And then when they get to the house and they're there, and then the family that's actually doing the same thing that they did before them, years before them, they treat them like scum. They treat them like the intruders, and they treat them like they shouldn't belong there. And then that's what causes the tension between them, and blah blah blah, and it goes all the way. And finally, when the pressure gets to him, and Mr. Park for the last time insults and degrades Mr. Kim's family as less than human because he's not trying to help his daughter who just got stabbed. He's trying to get himself out of there.
Well, and his son.
And nobody called an ambulance there. None of the rich people did anything. They just ran away.
Away.
Nobody did anything. That's what finally drives him to be like, I've been seen as less than human one time too many. And he attacks him, and then he runs into the basement. So the fantasy that they were trying to have, which is living in this house and having this life, like that night when they spent all by themselves and the Park family moved out, and they're like, yeah, this is it. This is what we want. What if this was our house? What if we were living here? We were the Parks. He ends up getting trapped in that fantasy, basically. That's like the whole metaphor of it, because he can't leave. Just like he was trapped in that basement and he couldn't leave there. He's trapped here.
I mean, they also make a point about plans, and if you think about any plan they made throughout the movie, even though they were successful in pulling off the switches, the plans never turn out well. Everything goes
true.
It all hits the fan. And so like even this plan that he makes at the end, it's like, hey, I'm gonna marry rich, or I'm gonna work my way, I'm gonna get a degree, I'm gonna go do college the right way, I'm gonna buy this house. Like, I don't know, they already
I guess that's
established that
true.
plans
Yeah.
always go awry.
And the
Yeah.
dad,
So-
the dad even said the best kind of plan is having no plan at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess my hopes are crushed.
Yeah. Sorry, Nick.
I felt really bad for him, the son anyway. I mean, the son kind of set it off, but like, it was when everyone got there. I was like, ugh, I kind of don't like the family, but then you root for him.
I don't know. I mean, the thing that kind of keeps me from it is at the end, it's like they've done this thing. They've already broken how many laws?
Oh
Their dad's
yeah,
literally
how
a
could he?
murderer.
Yeah, how could he come back?
At this point, why wouldn't they just break into the house, let him out, and go?
Yeah,
That's the one thing that's kind of like, why does he have to work his way up to I mean, now he wants to do things the right way. They've been taking shortcuts the whole time and trying to get their goals by doing shady things the whole time. But now you want to, this is the time you want to, I mean,
wait for the new family to go on vacation and then just bust the window. That's what I would do.
Yeah, for real.
If you don't hear him coming down the stairs for like 2 weeks, you're like, all right, let's go.
And he doesn't even need to like, because I know he's a wanted murderer now or whatever, and so they're like, if anybody sees this man, let somebody know. But like, he doesn't even have to leave his own house. He could just chill in his own house.
Yeah, just grow a beard and just like, can't see me.
Yeah,
that'd been funny. For
that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Just basically being mean, now that I'm having to work from home for a little bit.
Ah, dang. I'm going to edit that out so you don't know when this is happening. No.
Listen, there could be many reasons why I'm working from home. All right, I could have broken my leg.
You worked up to it. You worked up to working at home. There you go.
You could have murdered somebody. You could have murdered your employer because he said you smelled bad.
Yeah.
I
Oh
used
my
my
god.
XP.
Yeah.
I used my XP to I spent it on my skill tree. Now I got the work from home skill.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
No, I absolutely love this movie. I know we kind of blew through the whole thing. Well, I blew through the whole thing, but I had a good time watching it, and I'm really glad you guys were like, "Hey, you should probably watch it." And thanks to Hulu for putting it out there for $12 a month,
fact,
but free.
Bong Joon-ho's all of his films, or most of them.
I need to watch
right now.
some of his other stuff.
I want to watch a couple of them. Yeah, for sure. Because
I've started
I've
started Snowpiercer, but
I've watched Snowpiercer.
Yeah, I
that
haven't.
That one's.
Yeah,
I didn't. It's definitely not to the caliber of this one.
It's
I
another.
started to watch it, and it's like I didn't finish it. I probably should. And then Mother, I think, is another one.
Mother, the horror.
Yeah.
One?
Yep. The one with Jennifer Lawrence.
Ooh, wait.
That's his too?
The CGI Mother? Because I hated that movie.
No. That's a different one.
That's
Mother.
Mama.
The one
That's
about the
Mama.
two little girls.
No. That's different.
That's Mama.
Yeah, Mama's something else.
Like that.
Mama was bad.
The ending
Mother.
of Mama was the ending of the one with the two little girls sucked.
I think that was Mama.
That was
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Mother with an exclamation point. It's got Jennifer Lawrence.
I have not seen it. Oh yeah, I see where it is. Okay. Oh, that's.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, he also made The Host.
It doesn't really.
Host.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not. I lied. I lied to you. I'm a liar and a thief.
It's
okay. Actually Darren Aronofsky. I'm a liar.
Oh,
okay. There's some other horror movie that he wrote.
He has The Host, and I tried to watch it, and I'm like, it's like this it's another low class dad who's like his daughter. He's not there for his daughter. He works with his dad. So it's a dad and grandpa running a shop. I didn't even finish. I got like 10 minutes into it. I was like, I'm gonna watch some other movie it's a Korean movie. I bet it's not as good as Parasite. Didn't know he made it. It's definitely not as good.
Okay,
monster.
I've been bamboozled. Apparently, he does have a film called Mother. I just got it mixed up with the wrong one.
He does. I want to see that one. Oh,
whoops.
Looks pretty good.
There's one
Spreading
I know
misinformation
called like Memories of Murder. I think is what it was. And it's like supposed to be like some sort of serial killer murder mystery. But he did that one as well, and that's the one I want to look into.
Oh yeah, Memories of Murder. He's been around since the 90s.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it. He's pretty good. Oh, Snowpiercer. Oh,
Snowpiercer, Okja, and Parasite are probably his most.
I've heard of
Western.
Okja. I've seen I've seen the trailer on Netflix. I never watched it.
Yeah, it didn't look that good, to be honest.
All right, we're coming up on an hour, but it can go long. It's okay. It doesn't matter. But here, I have a question for you all, and this is on Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. But it says down here at the very bottom. Hold on, let me scroll down to it. that there's a plan to make a spin-off series. I don't know how much to take of it. It's a quote from the Wikipedia. Don't quote me, but I'm quoting. Uh, an HBO limited series based on the film with Bong and Adam McKay as executive producers is in early development. Bong has stated that the series, also titled Parasite, will explore the stories that happen in between the sequences in the film. In February, Mark Ruffalo and Tilda Swinton were rumored to star in the series. End quote. Would you watch this spin-off television series? And do you think they're gonna make?
It's HBO, so there's a good chance that it will be quality because HBO does tend to produce
Yeah.
some pretty,
That's true.
That's true.
fairly well produced
Mm-hmm.
shows. So maybe it just depends on like if I'm interested enough in if they portray the universe as interesting enough for me to watch it. Because I mean, like Parasite was a great movie. I think it's just like a very well self-contained story,
Yeah.
and if
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah.
gonna show us like little trivial information that I really don't care for.
Yeah, I think the thing is though, it didn't set up a world or a lore to really like
No.
expand upon because like with Star Wars you have all these different planets, but like this is actually it's not real life, but it's close enough to real life to where it's not like you're gonna see an alien come from the sky. It's set in a sort of realistic setting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Realistic
yeah,
fiction.
Yeah.
the story. I don't really see what they could be doing with this. If this is like, and also, what would Mark Ruffalo and Tilda Swinton be doing?
Yeah,
If this thing is it's supposed to be setting in between, like during the film,
yeah.
what really are they going to be doing? I don't.
Yeah.
Is it going to be some sort of weird tag and bink scenario where Tilda Swinton and Mark Ruffalo are like accidentally causing the whole thing to happen? I don't know. I don't
Now,
really. Honestly, I'd have to look into it and know more about it to make a choice. But as
Yeah.
of now, based on that synopsis, I probably wouldn't watch it.
if they're gonna give us some more background information as far as like why the family ended where they ended, and like I'd probably watch that. Like
Yeah,
you
like
could do
where
a
are they
thing where
now?
like, well, no, I'm talking like you could do a thing where
Like a
you
prequel.
Oh,
yeah, like a
okay,
prequel,
okay.
like you show how the father and the mother met and
Yeah.
how they ended up in this particular situation. Like I'd probably watch that. Like I feel like I'd be more open to watching like a prequel movie than like a movie that just shows you like what happens in between scenes or what happens between the time skip. Like
I think I remember hearing an interview with Bong Joon-ho, and he said that there were themes that he wanted to explore in the film and that he just didn't have the time to.
Yeah.
And so he had to cut some parts out of the script. So what I understood was that he wanted to explore those ideas more, but I don't know if that was with like a different set of families or with just I don't know, but yeah, it really depends on how it's portrayed and what exactly it's covering. Because I mean, I feel like Parasite's definitely like a one and done. It's like you
Yeah.
don't need, there's no more stuff we need to know about
Yeah.
the universe.
That's one of those
It's
things where
just-
I wouldn't probably want something. I would watch it because the first one was so good, but it's something I don't want to happen.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
sounds
Don't
kind of
need more.
selfish to me, but as
now
the one,
I feel like I'd be open to watching a series with the similar concept. Maybe there's like another parasitic family
yeah.
that invades a richer family, or like I like what he did there. I like how he kept you guessing and thinking like, oh, how are they gonna get the dad in? How are they gonna get the mom in?
Yeah.
So maybe if you took that same approach to classism in a different setting, like maybe in a different country, like maybe in America or maybe in a third world country or something like that, and do a series on that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably watch that.
Maybe that's why Mark Ruffalo's in it. Maybe it's like it's taking place somewhere else, or maybe like it follows the first kid. He goes abroad to where do they go? France. Is that where he goes? I think he's going to France.
I can't remember.
And like maybe they pick it up there. It has the first part of the beginning the exact same, then it like goes with the kid, and you're like, whoa, where is he going now? You're like, oh, we're watching Parasite again, but no, and then it goes to France or something. I don't know. That would
Yeah,
speculation sucks.
if it took some of these kind of same thing, like if he's trying to explore a couple other things, and with the same idea and the same theme, I would be a little bit more open to that. Like maybe
Mhm.
instead of it being it could be a parasitic relationship, but not necessarily classist, but put
Yeah.
in a different context.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
maybe what you could do is you could extend it from being a parasite from this poor family trying to worm their way in and get to the wealth of a big family. It could be something like I don't know, a parasitic marriage
Yeah.
or something like that, or some, or you could yeah, you could even do something like if you wanted to take shots at the education system or something
Oof.
like that, the
Ooh, I would love
parasitic
that.
nature of that,
Yeah.
something like that.
Hmm. I
Marriage
think that would
Story.
definitely be.
Marriage Story.
Marriage Story.
Oh
Marriage
man,
Story.
Cross Parasite.
that's a great movie.
That is a great film.
Parasite cross Marriage Story. That'd be goofy.
Parasite Story.
Yeah. Oh
Marriage
my
Story
gosh.
2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh my gosh. I would. Oh my god. So yeah, that was pretty good. I liked it. We're just over
I
an
thought it was
hour.
trash. It was so bad.
Okay. What else did it win? I
Hot take.
forget.
It sucked. Oh, Little Women actually deserved Best Picture.
No, I've watched Little Women twice. It's a very good movie. I love Little Women.
I've never seen it. Any of
Um,
it.
It wasn't
Like I've never
bad.
seen any Little Women
This is
movie
the
or
only one I've seen. I've never even read the book, which I'm told I'm a heretic for because it's apparently one of the movies books you have to read.
yeah, I've never read
So
the book either.
I need to read the book. But Little Women is pretty good. It's definitely the
It was
most.
alright.
I liked it. Well, maybe because like I was like biased. I watched it with someone who really wanted to see it, so I got hyped up.
You watched it with Oh Little Woman.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
she is short. She is short. And then I
A
watched
little
it, and then I
hard to
watched it with
say.
my mom, who's like 5 foot tall. But
Scary
yeah,
little.
like
Scary
what?
little.
Scary little.
You guys just laughed at a quote from Friends.
Oh.
You mean the worst sitcom ever?
I'm out.
Relax.
All right, end it.
Friends
End it
is
now.
Trash.
End it now.
I'll die on that hill. I will die on that hill. Friends.
Is it worse than Big Bang Theory?
Ooh.
No.
Is it worse?
No, definitely not.
Shellman's-
I'd have to think about it. I have to think about it,
Shellman's
but I do
Big
know
Bang Bazinga Bing Bong.
both of those shows are
Yeah, they're
Are
both pretty
just-
bad.
Friends
yeah.
isn't great. It did set precedent for sitcoms, so
Mm,
that's
That
all
is
I'll
true.
say.
I guess.
I mean,
change the sitcom.
not
yeah.
really.
I wish this was
What
a
I-
video podcast to see Benny's face just then. Oh my gosh.
He's
What I
like,
hate about Friends.
"Now, hold
Here's
up."
what I hate about Friends. Friends assumes you're an idiot because Friends assumes that you
Cut
as
it
the
here, make a new
viewer
episode.
are an idiot and that it holds your hand so much. Like it's like if I told you, here is the joke right here. This is the joke, guys.
I mean,
This is
any-
the-
Any show with a laugh track is a little
Yeah.
hand-holdy. I agree.
Yeah.
But I mean,
All right, but there's a
I
couple that
enjoy
are
it.
really good. I can name you like two right now that are good with a laugh track. iCarly and Drake and Josh. I love those.
yeah.
Victorious
Drake
is better than
I never
iCarly.
watched
Those are-
Victorious.
those
I was
are,
too old for Victorious. It
Yeah,
came out when I was
iCarly has
like,
some good episodes. I mean, honestly, I'll take Drake and Josh over iCarly any day.
that's
But
true.
you got to give Mary
That's
Mary's
true.
due. Now, The Big Bang Theory doesn't hold your hand as much as Friends does, but it's still a bad show altogether. Like
It's
the
way more
premise is
cringy to
stupid.
watch.
It's
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
that's
way
true.
more cringy. To
that
watch.
is true.
Way
Yeah.
more cringy to watch.
Yeah, Friends is actually has like entertaining characters. I think they're funny. So.
I think you're.
The bits are funny. Like I'm not laughing the whole time. Like some of the jokes, they put in a laugh track, and you're like, yeah,
Friends,
no, that
Friends is the
wasn't-
one with
that
Central
wasn't
Perk,
that good.
right? That's the one with Central Perk,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one.
I see Central Perk at Francesca's. If that makes you, if that skews your view anymore, Francesca's is like basic girl
Yeah.
shopping.
I've been in there. My
Nah,
girlfriend likes to go there.
I
Trust
can't
me, I
say
know.
that. I can't say that. My sister manages one,
I know. I ran into your
Oh my
sister the other
gosh.
day.
and my girlfriend shops there. I go in for them. She only buys like really.
Ditto.
She does buy the good looking stuff. I will say there is a lot of like whatever stuff, but my girlfriend buys like the good. She'll look at it online and then go in and be like, I don't know if I like this or not. But yeah, it's pretty all right.
Yeah, I'd love to have. We should do a podcast episode on sitcoms. Like I'd be so down for
Next
that.
Oh, that'd be
next
dope. I
episode.
like that.
I don't really watch
because-
sitcoms, so I would have to watch one.
And
I'm
like,
watching. I've started to watch Community just now. Just
oh, the
today.
best.
Ooh, there
One of
you
the
go.
best.
It's pretty
shows
good.
ever.
Yeah.
It's like not too heavy on the humor, but it's like it's got like heart. I like
Oh,
it.
that's right. I watched King of Queens. I watched King of Queens.
The cool thing about Community is it doesn't hold your hand and it assumes that you're smart. And
Mhm.
even if you don't catch all the subtle jokes, like you still laugh at all the antics that they do, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's a lot of
I will warn you, it does take kind of a dip season 4.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Probably heard that. I've heard it regains itself in season 5. We just started 5, so I don't know
Yeah.
if that's true or not.
So
But
there's
I've seen a
Yeah.
couple. I'm looking
But
through
it-
like a list of
season 4
sitcoms.
isn't
I've seen a
horrible.
couple.
I mean,
Ooh,
they make it sound like the show is completely different and like it's all
It's
horrible. It's
All I
not.
know is that they changed writers or something.
yeah, they
Yeah,
got rid of Dan Harmon.
yeah, they.
yeah, Dan Harmon.
Oh
He
yeah.
created the show, huh?
Then
Yeah.
he comes back. So
He comes back in
Yeah.
season 5, so a lot of it comes back.
So, yeah,
But
we're
yeah, the
definitely
first
doing
3 seasons, very good.
So
Yeah, I'm
we're
looking
definitely doing
forward
them
to
for the sitcoms.
next
I have some-
episode, baby.
I love sitcoms.
I typed
Like,
in
I really do.
sitcoms and Parks and Rec came up, and I've seen all of Parks and Rec and The
I've
Office.
seen all of Parks and Rec.
I was about to
And
say The Office is probably one of the most the most loved
They
sitcoms
also
of the
put
modern era.
The
for sure.
Simpsons and Family Guy, and
I mean, those are sitcoms,
that's
technically.
true.
Not cartoon. We should probably do live
Okay,
action.
live action
okay.
sitcom.
Okay, I call
Like
I
Two and
call
a Half
Parks and
Men.
Rec. How
that's a
I know which one
What
Noah's
show?
gonna pick. Noah's gonna pick How I Met Your
Two and a Half
Mother.
Men is trash.
Dude, I tried watching How I Met Your Mother recently. It does not hold up.
Oh.
No, it does not. Okay, the thing
Oh.
about How I Met Your
Ooh,
Mother is
next episode.
That's a show that.
Next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
let's
we should
end
do
this one.
there's a certain thing with that. There's a niche to How I Met Your Mother. But we'll talk
There
about
is.
that
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about that in hopefully the next episode. That
Yeah,
dates
dude,
it.
I'm
So.
pumped. Talk
Watch
about
them in
sitcoms.
order on Spoofy.
We should probably cut this out. This whole. thing
I'll
out.
probably actually cut it out and make it its own separate little like side bit. Send to the Patreon to find. I'm just kidding. I don't have a Patreon.
my God.
I don't have a Patreon for
only-
this. We're not that big yet. But no, thank you so
I'm
much.
pretty big, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, let's end this
Ask
one.
your mom.
I'm not gonna say it.
Ooh, anyone have any closing remarks for Parasite?
And I'm sorry, say it again.
Does anyone have any closing remarks or like anything they want to say before we end this one on Parasite?
Must watch movie.
Cinematography was on point. I really
Yes.
love the scene where one of the best scenes, in my opinion, besides like the whole sequence of them firing the housekeeper,
Oh yeah.
was like the scene where the mom was talking to the housekeeper, like the Park and the Kim mom were discussing the Park kids, Dasong's like seizure or whatever they had, and it shows because he apparently saw a ghost, but what he saw was the
Oh
the,
yeah. Didn't talk about that.
the-
Ugh. Saw the
the husband from downstairs who was living in the basement come upstairs. Oh man, that's a chilling
Yeah.
shot right there.
Yeah,
it's so
it is.
good.
dead. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
And I
yeah.
also love how well everything is foreshadowed and set up.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
Also,
true.
oh,
yeah.
she eats enough for 2 people. Oh,
Yeah.
and then he mentions earlier he saw a ghost come from the basement.
Mhm.
They're like, oh no, he's just I
Yeah.
imagine it. And
The
then it's
kid.
like, oh, it was the whole thing was leading up to this
Really?
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of good like setting things up and having it all pay off, and it just like
Yeah.
Oh, the
so
payoff
well.
was amazing. I will say, like, all
yeah. I prefer. Okay.
I will say though, I was very confused at first on first viewing when he kills Mr. Park and he just goes on like he just
Yeah.
runs in there and kills him, and I was just like, why did he do that?
Yeah.
And then but looking at it again and seeing a lot of the things that I didn't catch, a lot of the subtle Mr. Park, like it's interesting because
Yeah.
the first time I watched it, I was kind of on Mr. Park's side for a lot of it. The
Yeah,
part
me
where
too.
he's like, where he was like, where they were sitting there and what was his, and he was basically telling him, this is your job, this is what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Like you have to do this because this is your job or whatever. Remember, this is your job. I was sitting there kind of like, yeah, well, I mean, he is right. This is his job.
yeah.
And, he kind of does have the way, he is paying you to be with his family and do stuff with him. So, but at the same, so I was kind of like, what? But then on second viewing, I'm like, well, yeah, but then he also never really treated him as a person.
Yeah.
He was disposable.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
I guess I would say I prefer the cinematography of 1917 for
Oh,
sure.
dude, by leaps
I
and bounds.
prefer-
By
Dude,
leaps and
absolutely.
bounds.
I prefer the
Well, there's a lot
writing.
more to capture
That's
with
true.
1910.
Yeah.
I prefer the writing for Parasite, and The only other one I've seen is Little Women, and I mean I like the costumes. I do like old timey movies that can nail costumes really well, and it's pretty good. Plus, one of the sisters is super hot. I mean they're all really pretty, but like one of them, ooh, super hot. Not even Emma Watson. She's pretty, but she's Emma Watson. We've seen her. It's the other one, the blonde one. I don't remember her name.
Florence Pugh.
Yes, that's the one.
She's such a great actress.
Yes, she is. I need to watch more of her stuff.
Midsummer, dude. Watch
Midsummer. There we go.
Is that good?
It's a pretty good movie.
I hear it's pretty good.
I liked it more than Hereditary.
Ooh,
I haven't even seen that one.
I haven't seen that one either.
Well, they're both. I'd say they're both equally as.
Okay. All right.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood wasn't bad. I really enjoyed it. Actually, it was a
yeah.
fun movie to watch.
I forgot that was on the Best Picture.
I'm gonna watch.
I really liked it. Like, and I'm not like a Tarantino is God kind of person, but I really enjoyed it.
Oh wait,
I like a lot of Tarantino stuff, but I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was great, to be honest.
Did watch another
I enjoyed watching it. It was
movie.
entertaining, but I knew it wasn't gonna win.
It was really engaging. I'll say that.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
For sure.
I did forget that I did see another Oscar-nominated movie. I don't know if it won, but it was Star Wars, because every year John Williams gets the nomination for Star Wars music. So technically, it's nominated.
I have so many opinions.
We already talked about that.
I know we
have
did.
So many opinions on the music in Star Wars. Like
we already talked about that.
Yeah,
it's beautifully written, terribly edited. Like,
all right. Anything else before we go?
No.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this and listening to this episode of Lorecast. We talked about Parasite. Leave in the comment your cat's first middle name. I want to know what it is. Thank you so much, and we'll see you. We'll see you next week.
I think I just cringed to death.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Bye, everyone.
Bye.